Welcome to Whitlock Garage, where we're united by trucks. Today, on What's in My Driveway, we're going to be showing you a student-built road warrior of a 63 C10. Alright guys, so today on What's in My Driveway, as I told you in the intro, we've got Christian Carpenter's 63 C10, what I call a road warrior. And he's going to tell us a little bit more about how he drives this thing hundreds of miles, round trip, on the interstate, back roads, whatever it takes to get wherever he needs to go. Y'all hang tight and we'll flip the camera around and show you this road warrior 63 C10. Thanks for taking the time to bring the truck over, man. Yeah, this is something that is a little more unique than what we typically have on the What's in My Driveway.
It's just a rusty turd that I have named Frankentruck.
Yeah.
Because it is pieced together. It was a farm truck up in Jasper, Georgia for probably about 10, 20 years. I don't even know. And it was parked in a field for about another 10 years. And then popped up on Craigslist 3.5 years ago and decided to buy it.
So you've had it for 3.5 years?
I have.
Awesome.
It's been a father-son project since then. Thankfully, my dad was able to help me out with it because I was too broke at the time. I didn't have a job.
Yeah, so I think that's an important point. You're still in college, is that right?
Yes, I am a student at Georgia College. I'm a sophomore and I'm an accounting major.
Awesome.
So, which doesn't really equate to why I want to have old trucks and all. But, you know, it's...
Well, you got to be able to crunch the numbers for all the money you spend on the truck.
Exactly. Right? It had a 283 small block when we got it, and it had a 3-speed manual on the column. I learned how to drive stick on this thing, so that was a lot of fun. But it now has another 283 because the old engine would go through about a quart of oil in 40, 50 miles, and I drove it like that to and from high school for a year.
Wow.
So
wow.
That was fun.
Well, before we jump into the drivetrain and the interior, I know you've recently done some stuff to the bed, and obviously this thing looks really, really good. Tell us what you've done to the bed here.
So on the bed, we redid that 2 years ago, 2 summers ago, my dad and I did. And it was Home Depot wood, some tools that we had at the house, and just a lot of hard work.
Man, that is awesome. It turned out great. It
looks a lot better when we first did it than now because it's been sitting outside in the sun and weather and rain for two years. Because I don't have a garage to park it in. I don't even have a garage to work on it.
That's awesome.
It's a driveway build.
Yeah, that is really cool, man. So tell me a little bit about the wheels and tires here.
So wheels and tires. I did a disc brake swap, which meant I could not keep the stock hubcaps and steelies. Rally wheels, 15x8 all around, 255 70 15s.
And you're still 6-lug, right?
Still 6-lug, yes.
Awesome. So you did a disc brake swap, went to a 6-lug rotor up front, obviously kept the 6-lug.
Because I didn't want to change out the rear end.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And it now, for a while, I just had no caps and bands. But then, thanks to you, I found some caps and bands for it.
Yeah.
And this will be, it's not the final form for the truck. I'm looking for either slot mags or 15x8 caps and steelies.
Man, you've been looking for slot mags forever.
it's hard to
both
find
are really
a full set
and expensive when you do.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna run this for a while. That's awesome. Just keep looking.
Let's see what's under the hood.
Time for some education about a rare part.
Yes.
But before we get into that, 283 small block, it now has a quadrajet carburetor. The original engine to the truck, when I bought it, had a 2-barrel. So 4-barrel, 283, 8.5 to 1 compression, cheap gas. The truck was originally an inline 6, and the original transmission, which was removed by the previous owner, was a 3-speed with overdrive. It's a Borg-Warner transmission.
That's really cool.
3-speed on the column, and then it has an overdrive unit that is electronically operated on the back. When I got it though, it was gone, which made me very sad when I figured out what it used to have, because I drive this as much as possible. to and from college, which is about 2.5 hour trip,
Yeah.
depending on traffic, over 100 miles one way, and it sucked on the interstate. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And I drove it down there with the old engine, had to stop once between about middle of the trip to put oil in it to get it down there and back.
But you did it, and that's
I did
cool.
it. I did it twice. And then on a trip from Milledgeville to the Commerce Dragway, I ran it out of oil. At that point, I decided to park it. $400 Facebook Marketplace motor is what you're looking at right now.
That's awesome.
Thanks
That's
to
really
Dexter.
cool.
He sold me that engine. Motor swap happened last summer. Took me the entire summer to do it. But I still had the old 3-speed transmission. And again, a pain in the butt to drive on the interstate. 3,000 RPM at 70 miles per hour. Not fun. This past Christmas, I decided, okay, I'm gonna do it. Started doing the transmission swap, but the solenoid would not work. It turned out that I had to adjust the points on the solenoid, and as soon as I adjusted them, I hooked it up with jumper cables to my Civic at the time.
You weren't with the truck when you
No,
were doing
I
all
brought
of
the
this.
solenoid down to Milledgeville with me and was just looking on the internet and found out, oh, you need to adjust the points. So I adjusted them properly, hooked it up to a battery, instantly worked. And I was
getting
excited.
that text.
And then that weekend I came home, put it back in the transmission, and then I proceeded to untested transmission, drive it 2.5 hours back to Milledgeville that Saturday.
No issues.
No issues at all.
We should go take a ride in this thing.
Yeah.
You want to go ride?
Sure.
All right. Y'all ready to go ride in this Road Warrior? Yeah. Man, one of my favorite things, and I know y'all can't see this on camera yet, but there we go. Fawn interior. So you've got 3-point harnesses in here.
Yep, I put them in over Thanksgiving break. And those were kind of sketchy.
So no power steering,
No power steering,
no power brakes.
no power brakes. Manual everything. And so the way the overdrive works is that at a certain speed, which for some reason is 28 miles per hour, I don't know why, nobody else knows why, but Borg Warner just decided it was going to be 28 miles per hour.
Yeah.
That is the cut-in speed for you to engage overdrive. When it's under 28 miles per hour, it freewheels.
Okay.
To engage overdrive, you have to take your foot off the gas.
Oh.
So, get to the cut-in speed, and it's now in overdrive.
Wow. You can go left here. Actually, go on straight.
Okay.
So we're talking about overdrive here, so let's ride for a
Yeah.
second. Cool thing is that you are explaining this in a way that, while I may not even understand it fully, you know, some transmission guys may, but
Yeah.
I can at least kind of get the flow. And I mean, it's some complicated stuff.
Oh yeah, it's very complicated. And when I was trying to figure everything out, I completely pulled apart the entire wiring harness.
Yeah.
And I didn't completely rebuild it with all new wires, but anything where I noticed a piece of insulation that was chipped or something, put some heat shrink on it, and basically made sure that each wire was going where it was supposed to go.
That's awesome.
No issues at all.
Man, that is so cool. I do have to point out, there's a small amount of duct tape across the top of this windshield.
Yeah, it's inside and outside. It keeps the water out.
Yeah.
The inside is to keep the rust from falling on my feet and getting in my eyes.
Yes. So I'm noticing like new bolts and nuts
yes.
down here in the.
So you square body fans will realize that is a square body gas pedal that I
That's
missed.
what I was thinking. That looked pretty familiar.
Because I have a cable gas pedal.
And this thing's got a little bit of pep to it.
Yeah.
You can turn right up here. This is cool, man. It feels really solid it too. Like it looks like it's,
Yeah, it is great. It's smooth. It's got coils all around.
Yeah.
But they're stock, and it's stock height.
Yeah.
So it just works. Part of me wants to just leave the stock springs in it.
Yeah.
And get drop spindles. Get a 2-inch drop spindle.
That's a good way to do it.
Because that way I don't lose any of my suspension geometry.
Yep.
And really that's the better way for me to be able to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think one important thing to point out, if you don't know very much about 60 to 66 trucks, I guess it would have been 60 up to 63 had this little section here.
Yes. 60 to 63 were called the
knee knocker.
Yeah, knee knockers.
Yeah,
it
so
really
you can see that is really close to my leg there. So when you're getting out, you have a tendency to knock your knee on that. And
you do it about twice,
yeah,
and then you learn not to do it anymore.
Well, the cooler thing I think that comes along with that is that the windshield has a wraparound effect. So you can see that the windshield has more of a panoramic style because of that knee knocker feature. So I think that's really cool.
And 63 was the last year for the trucks that GM put a wraparound windshield.
Yep. And guys, I just have to tell y'all, I love this truck. Christian comes all over the state of Georgia to shows and meets and general just cruises and stuff. And you just got to appreciate somebody who is in college, putting a truck together with their dad, shade tree mechanic style. It's cool.
Cue the music.